What's up, football fans? I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our two latest book releases, Football: A Love Story and What Did Football Teach Me? Visit our website at footballgameplan.com/books and get your copies today. Welcome to NFL Game Plan. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our Week 5 preview between the New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles. And we're going to be joined by our football game plan analyst, Teron Davenport, Gene Clements, and also Chris James. So let's start this video off by taking a look at my keys to victory.
Starting with the Saints in this ball game, they need an encore performance versus the run. I thought they did a solid job last week versus the Cowboys in stopping a run. And if they can do the same type of things or have the same type of effort versus Philadelphia and make this offense one-dimensional, it goes a long way in helping them win the game. And they have to send pressure to get pressure. The Saints can't generate pressure with their front four. I think they may have to send a backer, maybe even a safety, to help put Sam Bradford under duress. And the Saints also have to remember the playoff game. What worked versus the Eagles 2 years ago in that playoff game? They ran the football, operated off play action in the second half. I think they need to do that for 4 quarters if they want to have a shot. Now moving over to Philadelphia, I believe the tight ends and the running backs in the passing game could have a big day. I think this is where the Saints defense struggle, and if I'm Philadelphia, I would attack the second and third levels with my tight ends and my backs in the passing game. And on defense, you also have to stay alert for both the personnel and alignment of the Saints. Quite honestly, I think the Saints are predictable by personnel and alignment. If you see C.J. Spiller in the game, 9 times out of 10, they're going to try to throw him the football. So I think they have to stay alert and not get gashed by a big play down the field. And back to the offensive side of the ball, the Eagles have to make sure they pay off in the red zone with touchdowns. The Saints can be an explosive offense just like Philly can, but if they're settling for 3 instead of 7 inside the red zone, it could be a long day for this football team as a whole.
This week versus the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be important for the Saints to stop the run once again like they did versus the Cowboys. And I'm going to show you how they can do so, because one play in particular, the strong side power, they're going to probably see a lot of. I'm going to show you how they have to defend this. And what the Eagles are trying to do out there, shotgun pistol set, is come front side with the guard. It's going to pull around, trying to lead up on a backer. And what they're going to do up front, they're going to try to slam hard and combo this technique right here and work back to the backside backer. They're going to try to block down there, try to lead the fullback on the defensive end, try to get this backer hooked, so that way the running back has either inside track or he can bounce it outside right here in the alley. Now and they also want to hook him here, obviously. So what you want to do if you're the Saints is about beating guys to the spot. Again, you can't allow yourself, if you're defensive end, to get hooked right here. You have to take control of this gap because you have contained help here. If you're the backer, you're not going to even allow this to get this far. You're going to meet him here. Technique has to make sure he occupies the gap. He wants to cloud this gap for this pulling guard. And that's why it's important for this defensive tackle to cross face and beat him here. You want to keep this guy free, your Mike backer, so that way he can make the play. But you see where everyone is beating the offensive lineman to the spot and not allowing this guard, this backside guard, to pull in and get inside the hole, so that way he can block this backer, because if this happens, this play can pop for a big gain. But by occupying space and beating guys to the spot, you force this running back to make a decision very early. Okay, I have to bounce it outside, but now you have help with the corner crashing hard, cutting off the edge right here. You have the backer fighting hard right there, sealing the edge, and you also have your safety alley help as well. So this is one way the Saints, I think, can defend the strong side power game that they're going to see a lot of this game versus Philadelphia.
As we open up the Eagles playbook, I think they have a great opportunity to work both tight ends in the passing game versus New Orleans. Like I mentioned earlier, the Saints do struggle in covering tight ends, and the Eagles have 2 solid ones in Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz. And you see right here versus the Washington Redskins, inside the red zone, a dual crosser, high-low type concept with 2 tight ends. One was wide open, and it ended up being a touchdown. And over the course of the season, these are the type of concepts that the Saints' second level tends to struggle with. So if you have 2 good tight ends, you're a dangerous football team. This is why the Eagles pose a huge threat to the New Orleans Saints. And if they can get this type of thing going early, working those tight ends, it'll open a lot of things up later on in the game on the outside.
I think the Saints, their X factor is going to be Drew Brees. it starts and ends with him. He made an excellent throw to C.J. Spiller last week to win the game in overtime. It's going to be really important that he's able to spread the ball around. It's time to get Brandon Cooks involved, get Marcus Colston involved as well. X Factor, Saints, quarterback Drew Brees. X Factor for the Eagles is a quarterback as well. I think it's time to get Sam Bradford going. He made a couple very nice vertical throws. Allow him to continue to do that. Build upon the game from last week, even though it was a loss. Solid performance by Bradford. Also get Nelson Aguilar involved. I have the Eagles winning this game at home 21-14.
If I'm New Orleans, I have Drew Brees back, but I don't want to fall in love with the pass. I want to still try to get the ball in the hands of my running backs and allow them to churn up some yards on the ground, which makes it easier for Drew Brees to operate in that play action style of offense. If I'm Philadelphia, I have to find a way to get my offense started earlier. They've done a great job of making halftime adjustments in the offensive game and being able to come back and do more. But if I'm coaching them, I want to do something that gets us a quick strike early. So maybe something over the top. Again, try to work Nelson Aguilar into the game as a deep threat and try to get onto the board early. If they do that, I think that they can make this a game. But ultimately, I like New Orleans to win this 28-24.
Now for the Eagles, I'm going to start Sam Bradford. Listen, he's the guy man for pressure. The Saints have not been able to do that. What he can do is throw dimes when there's no pressure. And the Saints have not generated enough pressure, and also their secondary is questionable right now. As far as a sit, DeMarco Murray, until they realize that handing the ball off straight line for him and getting him to attack the line of scrimmage is the way that he runs it, I can't trust him in this offense. As far as a start for the New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees. Now, he does tend to play poorly on the road outdoors, but if you got to start someone from this offense, it's Drew Brees, especially since he now understands what to do to make this offense go forward. As far as a sit, I'm sitting Mark Ingram. He's not getting the requisite goal line carries, and that's where fantasy running backs really make their money. My sleeper here is Brandon Cooks. Expect him to actually take advantage of this Eagles secondary as they move him into the slot and even into the backfield. I have the Saints pulling this one off 28-26.
I like the Eagles in this ball game. I'm surprised that no one mentioned the biggest X factor I believe in this matchup is the former New Orleans Saints Darren Sproles. I think he provides a huge matchup advantage for Philadelphia, and I think the Eagles will definitely take advantage of that. And as we go to our picks, we're split down the middle. Teron and I are going with the Eagles. Gene and Chris are going with the Saints. Should be a great game, 1 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. And we also want to give a huge shout out to Saint fan forums and Eagle fan forums for always showing football game plan support.